It is Monday, and as part of our weekly video series, we like to just go over live streams. If this is your first live stream, welcome. First things first, guys, shout out to the stream sponsors of CoinCatch. That is the perpetual exchange of choice that I like to use, where I do most of my trading. They are a great platform, no KYC, no VPN. They have a lot of pairings. Their liquidity is great. They have a great bonus rewards program right now for people that are depositing, people that are actively trading. I think they have about 150K USDT up for grabs. That is potential for you guys. So get on over to CoinCatch and get settled with them. Again, I am tapped in with the CEO, a lot of the people in the exchange. So if you guys have any issues with anything, please don't be afraid to reach out and we can kind of get things settled. Also, Stryker.ai, it is a new platform that I am working with. They have a great macro calendar that's like a one-stop shop for anything that's like CPI, FMOC, really kind of working with those guys to get that whole thing developed. I think it's a great platform that I'm going to start to be using a little bit more here. So shout out to Stryker.ai and CoinCatch. On BTC, we did have a new print over the weekend, and it was at that 14144 NPOC. So that is really the only NPOC to the downside within range. So again, if you guys don't have any exposure, if you guys don't have any positions, that's an area that you can get positioned. Like I said, I like to create the longs, I like to create the shorts within all this, and then we can kind of just go based on that. The next area of interest to long would be to kind of close that out. I think it'd be a good area. It'd be that 114.144. I'm gonna come over here and we could do long entry. And so again, this is a place that you can look to get long. This is a place that you could look to be taking on some ads, you know, whatever it is, however you want to go about it. So that's currently what we're looking at for the next area of interest to long on BTC, guys. The next area of interest to short is still that, well, it was actually this 114.715. I don't know if anybody took it, you know, depending on how this reaction goes, it could be a good hedge. I did not short it, but you know, again, it is technically an active short, depending on how you want to trade things. This was based off this 114.715 print that happened back here all the way at the end of August, right? And then for me, the more likelihood I'll be looking to short is going to still be that 119, 118 area. Those are really the kind of areas that I think would be a better place for a hedge as of right now. But things haven't really changed much. You know, there's a couple of setups that we've looked and that we've kind of watched. This is kind of that trend line setup that we were watching for a retest of. We got that retest of the trend line, and hopefully it continues to go higher, right? I would say, you know, really below 107, 106, that's kind of the area of panic to where we can consider a lot more downside to the 101 and even below 100K. But as of right now, I still think that it stays. It's not the end of the world that we have a retest today. This is kind of just coming based off of this whole chart that we've been watching for a while now, where it's just continuing to range. It was kind of very similar to this price action here. We're still getting similar price action here up at this new range in the blue. So we're just going to continue to watch those, guys. Not much has really happened as far as just getting a deviation outside of our current range with acceptance back in. And again, this kind of deviation with acceptance back in is something that is a lot more bullish for me. But as far as NPOC print levels go, I would just look and focus on that 114.144. That is really the area that I'm looking the most. Bitcoin top indicator, still getting no real fat flashes on the weekly close for me to think any top is in yet. Again, this is the Bitcoin top indicator by DeProof over on TradingView. It just has a lot of things integrated into it. I mostly use it for CVDD, NUPL, and MVRV Z-score. I think that those are really good at calling tops, or at least assisting calling tops. And so this is what I use as far as like an anchor chart, right? I don't really do much trading off of this. Most of my trading is based off NPOC levels and current range levels. But when you talk about anchor charts, you got to have a long-term directional bias or medium-term time frame directional bias. And that's what anchor charts are able to do for you guys. They're able to establish a bias for, you know, however length of time that you want. And this is for a larger time frame, right? So I still think that we just have a little bit higher to go. We have a lot more juice in this bull market than what some people think. So I do think that, you know, overall, I haven't seen any flashes for me to be calling a top yet. Yes, there is downside, but just because there's downside doesn't necessarily mean that a top is in. And Bitcoin top indicator is something that helps me kind of perceive my directional bias within my overall trading, right? So let's just kind of get into Ethereum here on NPOC prints. We did get some prints, right? So this is a good thing, right? This is a good thing because things are opening up a little bit. We can start to create more game plans. We can start to look for areas of interest to long again. We did get a print here at that 4434, 4334, and then up here at 4726. We got the print that was on Saturday at the top. So that's a good thing, right? Because it still indicates to me we haven't had any NPOC prints to the upside on Ethereum for a while now, really since back in, I think it was mid to beginning of August of this year. So getting one to the upside is good because it also gives me a directional bias of up. But again, we did get some to the downside. So that's where we create our game plans going forward. So going forward, where are we looking to add? I would like to add down at this 4 334 NPOC print for Ethereum. That's the next area of interest for me to long. But overall, ETH looks still pretty good, right? We're still making some higher highs here. And then depending on where this goes, I would like us to come back down. It's still a higher high if we retest this area. And so again, that is why that 4334 NPOC print is where I'm looking to be long Ethereum next. Now, if we do drop below this and we start to retest 4,000, I think that yes, we could probably be worried. I think that it means a lot more damage to altcoins. But as of right now, just going to continue to take it day by day. And as far as our NPOC prints, that's where we're looking to long next, is going to be that 4334 area on Ethereum. So if you're long altcoins right now and you have a lot of exposure to altcoins, just know that there are targets to the downside on Ethereum. I am still long some altcoins, but again, I am still willing to be adding to those because I still think the setups on a lot of them are good for higher. Again, you're just going to need patience. You're going to have to weather some of this chop. You're going to have to weather some of the downside. And so, you know, for me, that's just kind of my game plan going forward on some of these plays, right? But that's really what I'm looking for on Ethereum. And then we can make a potential next area of interest to short. If we bounce here and run up, then this would be a next area of interest to short for me on ETH. We haven't had a short entry on Ethereum in a while, but this is currently where I'm looking for it to go next. CRV, one of those ones I am not that happy with, but I do know that I think once rest of the markets start going, I think CRV will continue to go too. So that's why I'm still kind of invested in CRV. That's why I wanted to continue to, you know, make those moves out of these lows. We had a deviation with almost acceptance back in and then a rejection here. But, you know, we'll just kind of have to continue to watch CRV as well. I think that the market dynamics on it are good. When it does start to rally, it does really rally. But as of right now, it has been a lot of chop. I mean, really, if you look at it, just look at how much choppy price action CRV goes. And then it gives a massive impulse move and then more choppy price action, maybe some more choppy price action before we get another massive impulse move. So that's kind of the way I'm looking at CRV, building that position over time, not too overexposed with it, but I still think it's a good play to be watching because it does have that potential to be a pretty decent runner. ENA is tough. Like I really like DNA, but you know, as of right now, it's just kind of chopping. Let's go down to the 4 hour and just kind of see what's going on. Yeah, I don't know. Decent buying opportunity. I mean, like I said, nothing has really changed. So many people were so bullish on this, you know, a couple of days ago, or, you know, when it kind of was putting in this move. I think 80 cents was like one of the targets for ENA, but now we're getting that retrace. So again, I might potentially be interested in adding ENA again. Kind of have a clear range forming for right now. We have upper limit. We can kind of just see that we are retesting down at this median ML a little bit. So not the end of the world. That could potentially hold. If we break below that, then you would look for, you know, that 50 to 55 cents. So we are on that verge of, if BTC and ETH don't play nice, man, that there could be a lot of swings to the downside on some of these altcoins. But normally when that happens, it opens up opportunity to be bidding, getting discounted buys for the upside. So you kind of just have to, you know, be in that mindset of it. I mean, Sol looks good. I mean, majors aren't retracing that much. BTC and ETH really aren't retracing that much. I mean, if we look at it, Sol is basically down 7%. Just sucks when BTC is down 2%, when Sol is down 7%, when Ethereum is down 4 to 5%, everything just fucking nukes. So that's tough. That's the hardest part when it comes to all this, guys, is still, I think most people are overexposed. They're trying to catch those like laggers when it comes to altcoins and stuff. And I get it, right? I get wanting to be exposed to altcoins, but just know that on days like today or this week, you know, I was looking for a strong weekend with a strong continued push into this week, and it's just not happening. So the weakness is still there. It's not going to be an easy ticket for people. This fucking kills me to see. I think I was trading pump down in this area and I kind of gave up on it down like right in here, and then boom, I had this fucking sick ass move to the upside. I'm not interested in trading pump again. I mean, it's just unfortunate. I think that it's good that their chart's doing well. You know, I would like for some meme coins, some Sol memes and stuff to kind of get cooking again, but you know, it is what it is. I missed this one. I'm not going to chase it now. I think the move to the upside is, you know, about 225% move to the upside. I can't be chasing that long. Maybe if we get a good opportunity on it, but I'm pretty interested in getting into it again. So this one is actually looking pretty good. I mean, I am long SCI spot. I have a big spot bag on SCI. And so I think my overall holdings in the SCIs is like right in the mid 30s. So we kind of like tapped into where my fucking average is. This one's been good. You know, I think out of the lows, it's pumped about 200%. So I'm still long SCI as far as spot goes. It's going to take some time. You could argue, like, I mean, it's just a very easy trend line break and retest, right? And so we're kind of building that. You know, just because we broke out of this trend line though, doesn't mean that we have to go straight up. You know, sometimes it may take like something like this before it finally ends up making its move. So again, patience within SEI. I'm long spot, but I don't have any leverage on it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, SUI's different for me because I'm long from so much lower on SUI. But I mean, it's just slow price action. Like not much has really happened. You know, we could look at the 1 day. It still looks like a solid trending chart. You know, it hasn't gone up like crazy. You know, it's kind of building this kind of rising wedge or this wedge here. You know, maybe we chop in this for a little bit and then we can see some upside. But you know, SUI still looks good. You know, I'm still long from all the way the fuck back here at 38 cents. You know, still holding that. So we'll just see how it goes. But I hope that you guys have a good rest of your day. Happy Monday. We will be over in the Telegram no matter what, sending you guys updates. Probably do another giveaway for you guys here pretty soon. So stay tuned for that. And once again, I appreciate you guys joining. A little bit tough conditions. We'll see how things go. I'll see you guys over the Telegram and let me know if you guys have any questions on anything. Peace out.